Well, it looks a bit of the goalkeepers' union for this week coming out here just now. First, let's get on to the games that are coming up. You've got the game against Arbroath on Friday night there. Always a tough place to go to.
Yeah, I mean, we're expecting a very tough game because they haven't lost in the last 5 games, and obviously winning at Queen's Park last week. So we are expecting a very tough game. You know, to be fair, they're an experienced team, very experienced management and coaching staff. So, you know, they're picking up points, and so we need to be on our front foot. We need to. Like we do every game, we respect the team we play against, and we certainly, we're respecting who we're playing against on Friday night against Arbroath away. And the lads know, we talk about it a lot, that it's going to be tough up there, you know, and they're fighting points as much as we are.
Now, the bad news this week is about Alex Kirk not going to play for us for the end of the season, back down to Arsenal. An injury's taken him away from us. Now, he's said lovely things in the press about A United. What's your version of what Alex was to this team? Alex,
you know, as a young man coming up from London up to Ayr and playing in the Scottish Championship from Arsenal, I think it's credit to him, you know, to take that challenge, you know, to come out of his comfort zone, because it can be very, you know, very easily just to stay at Arsenal and play in the 23s or get a local loan, you know, because there's a lot of teams in London. Credit for him, because, you know, to come at the comfort zone, and to be fair to him, how he's adapted is excellent, because he's must have got an extra string in his bow, you know, in his play, you know, the physical side of it all, and the different conditions to deal with, you know, on plastic, then 1 week on grass, because down the road it's all grass. So and I think he adapted really well. You know, he mixed his play when he needed to, played when he could play, and he could play forward when he needed to. You know, the physical side of it, he was getting into it more, and you know, and he really did well with the group of lads. He mixed in well. He's very liked in the changing room. You know, so yeah, it is a big loss. It's a big loss as a group for his personality, and you know, and obviously it's a loss for his talent. But the young man has got a great future in the game, and hopefully he can clear this injury up, and he has a good pre-season, and see where it goes for him.
I know it's always a difficult thing to say, but defensively we've looked really solid over the last few weeks, and even with players coming in and out through injury. Does that bode well for the future?
It does. I think we've been solid all season, to be honest. You know, I think we've been really solid. We've collected up clean sheets, and you know, as Charlie will say and Hayden will say, you know, you're desperate to keep clean sheets. You know, that's all thinking defensively. You know, back there, blocks, stop crosses. You know, get in there, scrap what you can to keep the ball out of the net, and obviously that doesn't always happen. You know. So I think we have been solid all season. You know, we've got a group of defenders, not just the defenders, a group of lads, the whole squad, not just the team, the whole squad, have that mentality when they need to defend, they can defend, you know, and they have to, you know. So I think it's for looking for the future, I think we've got a very good base.
Now that also adds into yourself there, Charlie. You've got a strong defence in front of you. You must have a good relationship with those other players, just knowing what they are going to do.
Yeah, exactly. I think, you know, obviously even when Alex is here, you know, Alex, Frankie, Sean, you know, we know how each other plays and strengths, and you know, I think like Timo says, you know, we've been really solid, especially recently. You know, 2 clean sheets in our last 3, so you know, hopefully tomorrow night we can do the same, because that's what, you know, Arbroath are going to bring on top of us.
Yeah, going back to Alex again, you know, he's going to be missed, I'm sure, from the club as well. How did you see him as a player?
You know, when he first came, you know, he was quiet, and you could tell it was his, you know, first experience of men's football, but you know, he grew into it, and you know, really got used to you know, football up here, and like Timo said, you know, out of his comfort zone. So, you know, he was good on the ball, and you can tell he's come from, you know, a good academy. But I think he's took, you know, that physical side and really bought into that and dealt with that really well.
Before we came to this recording, we were talking about the difficulties of being a goalkeeper, and I think, Karen, you've got a question about that.
Yeah, so after the Scotland game against Cyprus, there was some talk about how Angus Gunn maybe didn't have a lot to do in the game. How do you find it in games where you've maybe not got a lot to do? How does that affect your concentration levels?
I think, like you say, you just got to always be mentally strong and concentrate. You know, a big part of goalkeeping is concentration and, you know, your mental strength. So because, you know, at any point in a game you can be called upon, whether that's in the first minute or the 90th minute, you know, you might be needed. So I think it's always important to be concentrated all the time. Yeah.
Now, we're in that discussion, you were actually saying there that the way you train the players is for the game, for that 90-minute concentration as well. You don't just do routines.
No, it's not. It's how I work is, you know, sort of like coach on the move, but like after do the warm up, so the warm up on the mechanics side of it all. And the technique, so we're always looking to work on the technique because, you know, we're technique based, so it's a technique based, but it has to be game related, and you know, you look at the opposition, get the chances, where the threats are, and you work on that, you know, from, it could be through balls, angle balls, whatever it may be, but, you know, and obviously crosses and things like that, but it takes time, so it's not just going to happen. So you have that base and you go off that base and work from there, and there's certain good repetitions. They have to be, you know, it's not just repetitions. It's certainly good repetitions, but it can be on different sessions or different samples that we need to do, like, you know, perhaps samples not the correct word, but, you know, different techniques that needs to be done, and bring that into the game who we're playing against. But at the same time, don't go away from what they need to work to develop, you know. So like, you know, sometimes we have 4 goalkeepers in, 2 younger ones, and obviously Aidan and Charlie. They all have their different needs, and I record that, and I record that every day. I have that base every day, what they need to work on. So we do that, you know, and it just takes time because, you know, because it's just to work on that mechanics and working that technique within their mechanics of the body, because each one has different styles.
You mentioned the 2 younger goalkeepers, and one of them's Ollie Ekrapont, and Ollie made his competitive debut for the reserves the other day, and obviously trains with the first team. How well is he doing?
I've said it many times. I think Ollie's adapted really well. You know, the young lad comes in. He's been coming in a long while, coming and training the first team, and I think the biggest respect I could say to him is that the lads like him. You know, Aidan and Charlie are excellent with him as well. Like, you know, but so are the outfielders. They love it when he goes into the games or into shooting, because he's making saves, and they love all that because, you know, they can see it. He's got something. And the thing with Ollie, he takes information on very quickly, so he can adapt. You know, and I think he did really well away at Dundee United. You know, the staff, Davey and Tam, spoke very well of him. You know, because they spoke very well how well he did. And to be honest, you know, if the rules were different, he would have most probably made his debut for the reserves a lot earlier. You know, so he has got to keep going. He's got to keep motivating himself as much as we motivate him, which is not going to be a problem because the lad's got the bug, and he's got the bug. He's got a bit between his teeth, and he's, you know, and we certainly will keep pushing him. You know, he knows that. His dad definitely knows that, and Charlie and Aidan know that because they see me what I can bring to the table, and he certainly does. But, and I keep saying it, this doesn't work without the gaffer, without the boss. agreeing to letting him come in, and like Aidan and Charlie, you know, being happy for him because they still need to be worked, they still need to be done properly, you know, and like next season be different because we'll have the three, you know, all working together, and then they're ours, you know what I mean, they're ours, and we can certainly got a good base for them to progress nicely.
Charlie, then, what advice do you give to a young goalkeeper?
Well, you know, with Oleg's example, you know, it's really just in training with, you know, me and Ada just pick up on something. We're always trying to give him advice, you know, it's like especially say if Timo's serving, he might miss something that we see, and so, you know, I think in his case it's just, you know, stay grounded and, you know, keep wanting to learn every day and keep working hard and don't let your sort of standard slip.
Just jumping back to the game on Friday against Arbroath, what do you think of this Arbroath team and the kind of challenges you're going to have?
You know, I think they're a really good team. You know, they're well organised. You know, I think they're sort of in a false position, really. You know, they've probably not picked up. I think they've probably drawn too many games for their liking. But you know, they're a really solid side. They don't concede many, and you know, it's always a difficult task going up there. You know, the last time we went up, it was 1-0, and it was, you know, backs against the wall for the last 15-20 minutes until Jaden got the goal late on. So, you know, it's going to be exactly the same, I can imagine, tomorrow night.
Now, Timo, just coming back to that thing about the team and the fitness. Now, there's a few players still out. Jordan.
Yeah, so Jordan has been doing running. He's been doing a lot of laps around the pitch, hasn't he? And doing stuff with Stevie and Morph and Tomo, gym based. But it's good to see him on the turf and running around the pitch. So he is progressing nicely. Josh is hopefully, I'm guessing 90% he'll be on the turf next week. So he's got the bit between his teeth, and I know they're pulling the reins on him a little bit because he wants to get it back on. He wants to play now, but obviously he can't. But he'll be back on the turf next week, and obviously, you know, losing Alex, and I think that's it, really, isn't it? From the injuries. But we're not far off. We're not far off getting a full squad again.